Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I'm Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us. Hey, do you want to know why some kids throw tantrums? Yeah, the kids who throw tantrums all the time, they throw them because it works. That's right. Mom and dad have never put their foot down. They let their little brats get whatever they want. Or maybe you could be raised by someone like our gun law senior who would sit there and say, well, keep that up and I'll give you something to cry about. What we're going to talk about today is a group known as Everytown for Gun Safety who's throwing a big tantrum at one of America's largest firearms manufacturers, and candidly, the ball's in their court. And the future of how we are going to be able to defend our inalienable rights in many ways is going to come down to a singular decision by a single gun company. I'll connect all the dots and we'll explain it in just a moment. So today, let's spend a few minutes and let's talk about how one decision by one company could change everything. Okay, America, we are actually going to be talking about two gun companies. One in particular, though, Ruger, who's going to have some big decisions to make, and candidly, we're all going to be kind of watching. We're also going to have to talk about Glock because that's kind of where this story starts. All right, now, as we know, Glock is releasing a whole new series of handguns, replacing literally every one of their models with their new V series. Now, while people have been both jumping for joy and throwing themselves off of bridges because of this, the reality of the situation is this was done in response to several lawsuits kicking around the country right now, as well as a piece of legislation out of California that essentially said, hey, Glock, you've been manufacturing firearms that you knew could be converted through the use of a Glock switch into an automatic weapon. You didn't do anything about it. Translation, we want to run you out of business because some other third party, unrelated to your company at all, is making illegal products, importing them illegally into the United States, illegally installing them on firearms, and then having individuals illegally use them, and we think that you are at fault for all of that. Recognizing that these lawsuits likely weren't going to go away, however, Glock has chosen to make a redesign, and although there's been kind of rumors about what the new design will look like, if we just take a look at what Assembly Bill 1127 said would not constitute a convertible machine gun firearm, we will see probably exactly what Glock is doing. Well, emboldened by the success that many of these gun groups had in getting numerous attorney generals and city attorneys to sue Glock, getting the California state legislature to pass basically a ban on Glock, Everytown decided to take all that negative energy and write another big old tantrum, this time to the folks at Ruger. Now, here's the big difference, and before we get into this letter, what Everytown is complaining about is one particular model manufactured by Ruger, their RXM. Okay? I want to make that clear. One particular model. Now, when it came to the Glock handguns, it was literally every single model, which is why we're seeing all the Gen 1 through Gen 5s now being replaced by the new V series in almost all platforms of Glock handguns. But to just give you an idea of what a big tantrum letter starts like, Everytown writes to Ruger, and oh, by the way, with a courtesy copy to William Tong, the Attorney General of Connecticut, because as you know, Ruger is a Connecticut company, they write the following. On behalf of Everytown for Gun Safety Support Fund, we write with respect to an urgent matter of public safety. As Ruger is no doubt aware, certain handguns, most notably pistols made by Glock and other copying the same design, have been easily modified into machine guns that fire fully automatically with the insertion of a readily available but illegal machine gun conversion device. The frequency of shootings with such pocket machine guns has skyrocketed in the past several years. Instead of shunning such a design, Ruger appears to have run toward it, designing its new RXM handgun introduced in December 2024 to mimic a Glock and to be customizable with the same aftermarket parts. As Ruger must have known, introducing such a design into the marketplace risks exasperating the proliferation of illegal machine guns on the streets and further endangering American lives. I want you to understand that logic there. By Ruger placing a legal product legally into legal commerce, we exasperate the problem of illegal items being on the streets. Help me make it sense how that is Ruger's problem, okay? The letter goes on to then demand, in recent days, reports have indicated that Glock will soon be pulling its easily modifiable pistols from the market. A second company, Shadow Systems, is reportedly doing the same. This will leave Ruger as the largest U.S. manufacturer of a pistol that appears to be easily convertible into an illegal machine gun and risks Ruger's RXM becoming the new crime gun of choice across the country. And if you get deeper into the letter, what they're saying is that they are the only handgun manufacturer that will have a cruciform trigger bar that is still as easily accessible. So this must be a big prevalent problem for Ruger already. I mean, right? That's why Everytown's completely crapping themselves. Well, not so much, because guess what out the letter says? While we are not aware of any public reports to date of modified Ruger RXMs recovered in connection with a crime, it is almost certainly only a matter of time, given the rising popularity of these conversion devices and weapons that support their use. Okay, so they are literally saying that, listen, although we have no data at all, it's only a matter of time before we presumably do have that data, so we need you to act accordingly right now as if that data existed. We need you to pull ARM off the market and go through a radical redesign at the cost of millions and millions and millions of dollars because, well, we can look into our crystal ball and clearly see that this is going to be a problem. The letter also continues, Ruger claims to be a model of corporate and community responsibility. For that to be more than an empty promise, and for the reasons set forth more fully below, Ruger must pull the RXM from the market unless and until it changes the pistol's design. We call on the company to do so immediately. Okay, so what do you do if you're Ruger? Well, Ruger, if your mom or dad and your kid's throwing a tantrum right there in the aisle of the grocery store, what are you going to do? Because if you're going to go ahead and give them that bag of candy, you know, the thing they're throwing them the tantrum over right now, well, now we're setting dangerous precedent, aren't we? And we're setting dangerous precedent because although no data exists at all to suggest that there's anything wrong with this product whatsoever, and even if there was, all the data would show that what was wrong with it was the illegal activity of third parties completely unrelated to Ruger at all. Everytown believes that the more responsible thing for Ruger to do right now is to pull this firearm from the market and radically redesign it. And if Ruger gives in, then where does this stop? And while Glock may have been in a situation where almost all of their handgun models were susceptible to this illegal manipulation, there's not one iota of data to suggest that any Ruger firearm was, and even according to Everytown, only one model would potentially be susceptible. There are some people that have been very, very critical of what Glock did. I don't happen to fall into that camp. I think it is a very unique situation. Once we get outside of Glock and we start getting into other firearms manufacturers, such as Ruger here, in which Everytown has identified the possibility that one model may be there. If we don't stop it right now, yeah, this will be like the kid who continuously throws tantrums. If Ruger gives in here, what stops Everytown and all these other groups from writing to every single AR-15 manufacturer saying you have to pull every firearm from the market and do a radical redesign? Because even though we don't have data to show it's going on, we believe it's just a matter of time before your AR-15s are converted into unlawful machine guns. What happens when illegal technology advances to the point where we have the Smith & Wesson switch or we have the SIG switch? And now all of a sudden, we're getting more tantrum letters. And so what Ruger chooses to do here, because Ruger's situation is so different from what Glock did, is really going to tell us not only a lot about Ruger, but it's going to tell us a lot also about the future of the entire firearms industry, won't it? All right, listen, we're going to go ahead and link up some stories we relied upon in making this video so you can geek out on that as well. If you got any other questions about this or anything else related to what's left of our Second Amendment rights, you guys should know how to get a hold of Washington gun law by now. But if you don't, that's okay. That information is down there in the description box. If you got an idea for a video we should be doing around here, you click on that link, you tell us all about it. If you want to subscribe to the monthly newsletter, that information is down there in the description box. And then finally, and most importantly, let's everyone remember, that part of being a lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here, is to know what the law is in every situation, how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching, and stay safe.
therein lies why we say in the legal defense sector that we are the most value-centered, cost-effective legal defense in the space, and we are. There's no question. Now, again, I've said before, we've got great competitors out there. They have outstanding products. We admire them. They paved the way for us. You know, we analyze the folks out there that are doing the same thing we're doing, and we took some great ideas from them, and we went down a path of believing that we were going to do it with a service aspect, a servant's heart, and we have again. Our number one goal has been to serve others first in a way that the industry hasn't seen.
Right to bear, that's right, legal protection for self-protection. Listen, good lawyers aren't cheap, cheap lawyers aren't good. You're not truly prepared unless you have right to bear back you. You will always get an attorney-answered hotline, so you will always have a confidential phone call. There are no cap limits for either civil or criminal defense. This covers all forms of self-defense. So from a fist to a firearm, from a fat lip to a dead body, you are covered, and you will have some of the nation's most passionate 2A attorneys in your corner fighting for you. And right now, if you visit my friends at protectwithbear.com and you use the promo code WGL, you will receive 10% off. Listen, you need to protect yourself so that you can protect them. Visit my good friends at protectwithbear.com.